I have dengue fever. So on a trip to Thailand, came back, there was a woman next to me who was very sick. She had a cold, flu-like symptoms, snot, coughing. I got back, did a workout, and I didn't train once while I was away, which is unusual for me. I wanted to give my body a full rest. And as soon as I picked up the weights, my body just felt absolutely horrendous. Everything was aching. I was like, Jesus, what is this? Is this what happens when you take a week off? I was thinking, right, I must have been so, in the zone, tightly wound, that I've taken a bit of time off and completely unraveled in 10 days. Turns out it's not the case. As soon as I got home, literally within seconds, I was feeling rough, a bit sweaty, headache. It was like literally like someone, clicking the fingers. You're healthy, you're sick. So apparently with dengue, I could have had it maybe 5 days before. So obviously from mosquito bites. We did get bit quite a bit. We use mosquito spray, but you can't get them all. And then, because it was this sick woman was next to me for a 7-hour flight, coughing and spewing, I just assumed it was a cold. And once there was no snot and no kind of other flu-like symptoms, you were like, oh God, what the hell is this? Is it a norovirus? So high temperature and headache and constantly up and down in the temperature, but generally constantly slightly feverish, hot and cold spells. And then Jen, my wife, said, have you got any rashes? Any rashes? And I had a heat rash on my back from holiday, and I assumed I didn't have one. And then I looked at the test for dengue fever, which is basically you just put your hands on your skin, and if you leave a handprint, it's probably a rash. And I did it, and it was like, oh yeah, my whole body is covered in a rash. And I couldn't see it because I was quite tanned from holiday. So the next day, so on the second day, I actually felt a bit better. The day after that, I went backwards a little bit, and then the day after that, I went backwards again. So my wife was worried and was like, okay, let's go to the hospital. First time in Dubai to go to hospital. I think it's about the first time maybe in 20 years or something since I've been to hospital. They came in, did all kinds of assessments, decided to keep me in, put me on fluids, which helped immediately. And now the battle is basically just trying to maintain or bring down the fever, which is, I'm still confused because obviously this is a mild, I'm up to about 39.2, I think has been my highest, which is still a mild fever, it's not severe fever. And fever is the body's way of making, obviously, the environment inhospitable to any kind of virus or infection, and it's how we deal with it. So it's like half of me is like, you keep giving me these medications to bring the temperature down, but is it not better to kind of just let it run its course? But they, the doctors are the experts in the room, so obviously I'm going to listen to them. Although having said that, the doctor who in the emergency room who first did the examination, I said it sounds like dengue fever to me, and he's like, oh no, it's probably just some kind of virus. It's probably infectious. And I showed him the rash. He didn't really take any notice of it, and immediately gave me some paracetamol infusion, some saline solution, and then he brought in ibuprofen, which you're not meant to give to people with dengue fever because it can cause bleeding internally. So I was a bit pissed. Anyway, regardless, they're keeping me in. We'll see. The alarming thing is that 1 in 20 people go on to develop severe dengue, which is a lot more serious, but generally you recover from. So even when the fever goes and I start to feel better, then it's not a guarantee that I'm recovered. So we'll see. But yeah, first time in Dubai in a hospital. I'll show you the room. To be honest, I'm quite pleasantly surprised. It's a private room, no one else. I'm there by myself. And the food is absolutely awful. It's like, maybe they do it deliberately, but it's like they try and make it unpalatable, but disguise it as something else. Yesterday's dinner was really something else. Yeah, breakfast, in fairness, was okay, but the lunch, they gave me some kind of sandwich with, I don't even know what paste it was. I don't know whether it was fish or meat. It was indeterminate. I have no idea what it was. So this is it. The battle now is just to get better. I feel like the weight's dropping off me. Every lifter's worst nightmare, especially after having not trained for 10 days to come back to probably, which is going to be, what's this now? I got it on Monday, it's now Friday. It's a long time to have not lifted, so I'm going to be going back a few steps, but there we go. It is what it is. So yeah, maybe I'll do another video about the recovery. Well, that was a bloody ordeal. It is now Monday. I got out of hospital on Sunday. So it was from Thursday through till Sunday afternoon. And it was just being hooked up to machines isn't ideal for your rest. That's what I've learned. You know, having heart rate, blood pressure cuff, constant EKG setup, and having this cannula in your wrist continually for 4 days, well, two days of that. It's a ball ache, especially when you're being pumped full of fluids and you're drinking a lot of water. I ended up using one of these little jugs that you just pee into, because it would have just been an absolute nightmare. If I was a woman, it would have been, I don't know what I would have done, because I literally would have had to call someone every 45 minutes. As you can hear, my voice, for some reason, is gone. I don't know whether that's to do with me not speaking, I don't know. Something else that developed probably maybe the second day in hospital. I'm not sure whether this was another dengue fever thing, or whether this was because of the antibiotics. I suspect it's the antibiotics, as I've got this crazy continued rash, much worse than the initial dengue rash, because that's gone now. That was all over my chest, all over my back, but that's gone. And now I had this kind of fat fingers on the left hand, could barely close my hand, and on my right hand, and my toes started to feel swollen as well. And as I looked after a couple of days, I noticed, well, my feet are literally like strawberries, so itchy and dry, and everything. Not on Sunday, but on Saturday, everything was super sensitive to the touch. Even the edge of my laptop felt like a razor blade. They were giving me food with these plastic knives and forks. I had to stop wrapping them in paper just to hold them. Very strange. That eased off the second day. They gave me some Claritin kind of stuff, some antihistamines. But yeah, I'm back. I'm out. Been told to ease off, which I tend to do to a degree as soon as I feel as if I'm comfortable doing some kind of exercise, which I'm hoping for at the end of the week. Well, let's see. Any ridiculous changes, I will add to another video. But that's been my experience with dengue fever. It's not been great, it's not been fun, it's not been the worst. It's been the longest I've been sick, but it's not been the most sick I've been. But there we go.